Welcome to the Lagan Junction to Yorkgate Babcock project induction. Babcock is committed to creating a safe working environment which enables everyone on our projects to return home safe every day, with safety being the number one priority at all times. This site safety induction is for personnel working on the Lagan Junction to Yorkgate project. The induction will also incorporate the principal contractor's site-specific rules and hazards. During the presentation, we'll provide an overview of the environment you'll be working in, specific information about particular risks associated with the site, what's expected of you, what to do and who to contact when you need help. The Lagan Junction to Yorkgate project shall renew track, signalling, telecoms and points heating equipment between Lagan Junction and Yorkgate station. This shall include approximately 2.5 kilometres of plain line, 4 S&C, signal heads, AWS, TPWS and new points heating at each set of S&C. The work shall be carried out predominantly in disruptive possessions and blockades, including a 77-hour at Halloween, a 9-day blockade at Christmas, 4 29-hour disruptives in January and February, and with the remaining works following on through rules of the route. The Lagan Junction to Yorkgate renewal starts just beyond Lagan Junction. To the right is the RAB, which contains E&P and S&T equipment. Further on is a pedestrian access just before we enter the actual structure. Coming onto the structure, we can see there is a walkway on either side, and this should be utilised wherever possible, paying particular attention to raised sections. As we continue on, we can see the bridge end compound to the left-hand side. As we go around the curve, we come to 603 points where we move from double line to single line. This section will be renewed at Halloween. Moving on, we start to cross the River Lagan. When working across the water, safety boats will be in place. Handrails are in place across the structure but should not be leaned on at any time. Additional barriers will be fitted along the renewal areas. Machines may only be slewed at designated areas to prevent materials from dropping over the edge. As we come off the bridge, we come to the Donegal Quay Loop and 602 points, which shall be renewed in January. Within the loop, there is pedestrian access via Corporation Square. As well as standard track furniture, be aware of additional guardrails which can cause additional trip hazards. As we come out of the loop, we travel over 601 points, which shall be renewed at Halloween. To the left is Shipboy Street, where there is pedestrian access and the main signing in point. The final compound to the left is York Street, where materials should be stored and loaded up to the track. This compound should also be used to renew 600 points at Christmas. The final section of double line through Yorkgate Station beyond shall be renewed at Christmas. Compounds and access points are located across the site, including York Street, Shipboy Street, Nelson Street, Corporation Square, Scrabble Street and Bridge End. Shipboy Street is the main site access, including location of the site access cabin, where all personnel must sign in. All vehicles should also be parked at Shipboy Street, with car sharing encouraged where possible. At Shipboy Street there is pedestrian access to 601 points, welfare, offices and a catering van. Bridge End compound provides pedestrian access and material storage and access up to the track. It also provides a welfare unit. Be particularly aware of exclusion zones for ballast loading and unloading. Scrabble Street shall provide a staging area for the crane to install 603 points. York Street compound provides ballast and material access to track. There will also be a welfare unit in this location. Please be aware of the low bridge when accessing vehicles. Nelson Street provides the main staging for 601 points cranes. Cranes shall be sited on the M3 slip road and in behind Nelson Street shops. Corporation Square provides pedestrian access to the Donegal Quay Loop and locates a small welfare unit. When working on the Lagan Junction to Yorkgate project, never deviate from planned works and arrangements and never introduce a change without prior assessment and authorisation from the Babcock person in charge. Never enter a work area without prior authorisation from the person in control of the work or plant and equipment. Exclusion zones will be enforced around all plant moves and operations. As professionals working in the front line, our operational communications, and in particular safety critical communications, must be fit for purpose. Always identify yourself and your location. Confirm who you're speaking to. Use the phonetic alphabet. Repeat back and confirm understanding. Key personnel from both Babcock and Translink are listed on this slide. Further details can be found within the site documentation. Some of the key health and safety hazards are highlighted in the table below, with further detail and control measures contained within site documentation, which shall be briefed out. Some particular hazards to be aware of are fallen materials while working over the viaduct, working over water, additional trip hazards from guardrails, and damaged handrails. Security is important throughout, and in particular during the enabling works prior to the compounds being fully secure. Keep all access gates locked to prevent unauthorised access. If you see an unlocked gate, lock it if possible, and if not, report to your supervisor. If you see a damaged access gate or boundary fence, report it to your supervisor. Ensure all equipment and materials are removed from site and stored in a secure location. If you see any suspicious activity or unsafe condition, report it to the supervisor, who will escalate, including reporting to the police where necessary. Do not put yourself at risk and avoid confrontation. If an emergency occurs, ascertain as quickly as possible the exact location, nature of the emergency and the nearest access point. If the safety of the line is affected, contact the signaller and make an emergency call. Notify the supervisor, who will inform Babcock control of the situation, and if necessary, call the emergency services by dialling 999. There are first aid kits located in all Babcock company vehicles, and a nominated first aider shall be identified on the task briefing sheets. First aid kits are available throughout the site, and always ensure you're aware of who the first aiders are. Emergency contact numbers are detailed within site-specific documentation and shall be briefed out where necessary. The maps below show the nearest hospital to each location and the quickest way to get there. Main welfare is located at Shipboy Street, where there are toilets, canteen and catering. Additional welfare units are located at York Street, Bridge End and Corporation Square. Some of the key site rules include all personnel working on track must hold a valid PTS or TVP. All personnel must have had an induction, a task brief, a TSC brief before going on or near the line. Never enter an exclusion zone around operating plant, hot work fumes or ejected materials. Always wear the correct and mandated PPE. Keep noise to a minimum where possible. Do not litter. Only use mobile phones in designated areas. And no smoking is permitted within company vehicles or welfare facilities. The Babcock WorkSafe procedure applies to all staff on the project, including contractors and subcontractors. If you have any safety concerns regarding the operation of a safe system of work, in the first instance report it to your manager. Babcock will support in getting it resolved. To help improve our safety performance, report any safety hazards, unsafe conditions or safety concerns. Also report any good practice or action taken to improve safety. The Babcock Drugs and Alcohol policy applies throughout this project. You must not report for duty under the influence of drink or drugs and must be in a fit condition to undertake those duties. Any breach of this policy may render you liable to disciplinary action, which could include dismissal. Random drugs and alcohol testing may take place on this project. You must inform your line manager if you are prescribed medication or have received over-the-counter medication, which may include painkillers, sleeping pills, tranquilizers, anaesthetic, antidepressants, cold and flu remedies, any antihistamines. PPE must be worn at all times, including orange high-vis outer clothing, approved safety footwear, hard hat, cut 5 gloves, eye protection, and any other task-specific PPE. Make sure your PPE is clean. A garment that is heavily soiled cannot be seen clearly. Always ensure you have the correct permits before you start work. These will include track visitor permits, permits to dig, and hot works permits. Always consider the environment throughout the works. Look to reduce the risk of pollution, waste, and nuisance. And report all environmental events where harm may be caused to the environment. Be aware that some of the railway terminology that you're used to may be different in this location. Some of the examples of this are listed below. Always consider and work within the life-saving rules. Do everything you can to keep yourself and your colleagues safe. Thank you for listening, and please stay safe.